Hi, today we will learn the numbers in Spanish from 1 to 10. Learning the numbers in Spanish is a topic that will give you the fundamentals to count all the way to 1 million quickly. Let's look at the cardinal numbers in Spanish from 1 to 10. 1, uno, 2, dos, 3, tres, 4, cuatro, 5, cinco, 6, seis, 7, siete, 8, ocho, 9, nueve, 10, diez. Now, let's take a moment to go over a few tricks that will make learning these numbers easier for you. Let's begin with number 1, which in Spanish is called uno. This one is easy. Just flip the word 1 backwards and you will get ino, which sounds a little similar to uno. That is enough to help you remember how to say 1 in Spanish, uno. Now let's learn number 2, which in Spanish is called dos. Imagine you're in the hospital and two doctors say this at the same time. Take a dose of this 2 times per day. The English word dose sounds similar to the number 2 in Spanish, dos. This mental image will help you remember how to say 2 in Spanish, dos. Next is number 3. This one is easy. 3 and tres are very similar. Just add the letter S at the end of 3 and you will have threes. If you change the double E for E, you will get very close. You will go from 3 to tres, and that is very close to the Spanish word for 3, tres. Now let's take a look at number 4, which in Spanish is cuatro. A simple way to learn this number in Spanish is to think of the word quarter. Let's not forget that 4 quarters equals 1. If you take the word quarter and change the ER for a letter O, you get cuarto. That is very similar to cuatro, the equivalent of 4 in Spanish. The next one is number 5, cinco in Spanish. A fun way to remember the Spanish equivalent of 5 is to think of the holiday known as Cinco de Mayo, which translates as 5 of May. May is the 5th month of the year, so Cinco de Mayo is 5 of the 5th. Thinking about this festivity will help you remember how to say 5 in Spanish, cinco. Now let's look at number 6, known as seis in Spanish. An imaginative way to learn this number in Spanish is to think of the aggressive phrase, 6 is a sexist number. Just remove the X and the T from the word sexist and you will get the phrase 6 is seis. That is a simple way to remember that 6 is seis in Spanish. The next number on the list is 7, siete in Spanish. An easy way to learn it is to remember how number 7 is often associated with the divine. Think of the phrase, see eternity. If you separate the phrase so it looks like this, see eternity, and keep only the first half, you get see ete, and that sounds a lot like the word for 7 in Spanish, siete. Number 8 is easy to learn. Just imagine having 8 chocolate bars in front of you. If you take a closer look at number 8, it looks a lot like 2 O's, one on top of the other. If you place both O's next to each other, you get something like O, O. Now, all you have to do is get the CH from the word chocolate and place it between the 2 O's, and you get ocho, the word for 8 in Spanish. We are almost done. The next one is number 9. To learn it, just imagine you're at a New Year's Eve party, having a great time with 9 of your friends. A shorter way to say New Year's Eve party is New Year's Eve party. And if you remove years and party, you get New Eve, which looks very similar to the number 9 in Spanish, nueve. Let's look at the last one on the list, number 10. To remember it, just think of the phrase, learning 10 numbers in Spanish is not difficult stuff. A shorter way to say that is, learning 10 numbers in Spanish is not the S. The S sounds a lot like 10, the word in Spanish for number 10. 10. Now that you have these unusual mental associations and phrases, remembering the numbers from 1 to 10 in Spanish will be much easier. There is one additional note about numbers in Spanish I would like to mention. Whenever the number 1 is used before a noun, as in one coin, una moneda, or one pencil, un lápiz, the word one in Spanish should match the gender of the noun. This is not needed with the rest of the Spanish numbers, only with 1. The singular masculine form is un. The singular feminine form is una. Let's look at a few examples of the use of the number 1 with feminine nouns. One screen, una pantalla. One window, una ventana. One spoon, una cuchara. Now, let's look at a few examples of the use of the number 1 with masculine nouns. One pencil, un lápiz. One shoe, un zapato. One music player, un reproductor de música. So, if you're counting, use uno, as in 1, 2, 3, uno, dos, tres, and if you're specifying the amount of something, use the word un or una, depending on the gender of the noun, as in one red car, un carro rojo, or one yellow house, una casa amarilla. With a little practice, you will do it instinctively. It is that simple. Mastering the numbers in Spanish from 1 to 10 is very important for beginners learning Spanish because it is something you will use in everyday life. Next time you go grocery shopping or count money, use the numbers in Spanish to count inside your head. Learning the numbers in Spanish is easier than most people think, so start practicing today, come on! To learn more, feel free to visit learningspanishforbeginners.com. See you next time. Hasta la próxima.